You're looking at a Lotoo PAW 5000 Mark II. It's Playing Sexual Healing by Marvin Gaye. If I was told that I could keep my Astel and Current SE100 or this, which one would I keep without financial penalty because one's more expensive than the other, I would pick this one. As much of a album art person that I am, I would take this one because of its absolute technical, surgical precision ability that it has. It has that because it's got a chip in it called a blackfin. It's one of the reasons that I was attracted to this a ways back and wanted to get it. Despite like the boom having passed, they released one that's got gold on it. It's got the same exact version of the blackfin chip. Now the blackfin chip takes care of all of the digital sound processing. An EQ is a digital sound processor. Using a standard EQ on a device is going to introduce distortion. Distortion already exists in the device, in the music, but it's not audible to you. When you elevate, let's say for example the bass would be the easiest example to give you. You start to elevate bass and you start to get not good sound. It doesn't sound like the kick drum anymore. It sounds more like it's got a fuzziness to it. That is the distortion that you're hearing. It existed already in the bass, but because you elevated it via EQ, you made it audible to your ears. It was measurable from the beginning, but because you elevated it by EQ, you are now hearing it. That happens across the frequency from the bass, the mids, and the treble, but the bass is the easiest example to give you. This device is a little different from most because it's got a chip that is dedicated just to handling, processing, and doing that. That was its appeal to me. And the fact that it was doing it via PEQ instead of like a graphic equalizer with 10 bands like most have. I can adjust this anywhere I want. This has something called an ATE and sorry about the focus. Whatever. Can't deal with it. Or deal with it. ATE PMEQ is what this is called. If I hit this button, I've got ATE. Let me go ahead up to that one. Click that. This is going to give me a bunch of stuff. This is audio timbre enhancer, I think is what they call this thing. I've never used it. So, diffuse field, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure it works good. I'm not into that. So, this button right here, it's got like the gear. When in doubt, I hit that one. I'm back where I was. Now, I can go to PMEQ. And I can use a few presets, or I can use the one that I'm using right now. I'm going to go back. Now, if I want to adjust it, I go to PMEQ Management. I've got settings right here. This is user 1. You can have multiple profiles if you want. This is filter 1. Go into filter 1. At 55 hertz, now I could change this if I want. Go wherever I want. 55 is a magic number for me. With a gain of 5.1, with a band pass and a Q of 1. That would be one of the ones that I've got. The next filter that I've got would be another in the bass region. This would be at 65. Now you think 55 and 65 is too close. It's not really because of the width of this hill that I've got, and it's also lower than the other one, and it works with that set of IMs, which is the EX1000s. One of the reasons that I love it so much is because I can do stuff like this with it, and I can hear it. It's got a gain of 2.6, so it's a smaller hill. I've got a mountain at 55, and then a little bit, I got a smaller one, and then I'm going to disappear into the early mids. Before the fundamental bass region finishes, I'm done with my elevation according to the science. How wide this Q is and where it tapers off is pre 330 hertz. So I'm safe. That's also got a Q of 1. I've got one other filter. I could put it anywhere I want pretty much, I guess, but it's here, and it's at 8,000. You can't really do this, or you could do it with like software like Neutron, but you're using your CPU, or you're not really doing it in the same way. Again, this has got a chip that is dedicated to the processing part of this device, not the music part. That's the DAC, and the power would be the power chips and the low pass filters. This is a separate chip that is taking care of this. This is 8,000 kilohertz, where I have a sensitivity. It's got a minus 1.6 and 1.0, because it's a fairly small little notch right there. So I've got an elevation at 55. I've got a smaller little elevation at 65. That elevation is not interfering with the mids. I've listened to it. Sexual Healing was the one I was listening to. God, I love that song. And I don't think that the EX1000s have ever sounded as good as it sounds on this, because of what I'm able to do with it, with precision. Let me get out of here. That this is not more popular kind of blows my mind. If you're into EQ, this is probably the best thing that I've ever used. I mean, you could get Neutron, but that's an application that is on top of your Android. It's a slave to lots of things, and on a Android you've got a lot of noise because of other stuff going on. This is a dedicated music player, and on this dedicated music player, with its typical layout and structure, with its low pass filters, its amp chips, its DAC, it has another chip that is dedicated to just doing what I like to do, which is use EQ sometimes. And I can use it, and I can do it wherever I choose to do it. If I use a different set and I decide, you know what, there sounds like there's something going on, I can just run this to whatever frequency I want and try to correct something that I'm hearing that I think is some kind of an issue. So if I wanted to correct a set that had a measured issue, for example, the FIO FH5s had I think an odd peak around 4K. If I had this, when I was reviewing that, I could have said, you know, if you input something like this, you can go ahead and make that, you know, you can deal with that. But I wasn't using this at the time, so I wasn't able to test if this would work on that. Using this for bass on the Sony EX1000s, the effect is clear. Not only is it clear, it doesn't sound like it's introducing any kind of audible distortion, which automatically seems to come with any manipulation of the bass frequencies. It's part and parcel. It's salt and pepper. It's hand in hand, moving up the bass, moving up the distortion, hitting the audible level, and then negotiating with yourself how much you can take, and then say, okay, that's just too much, and you put it down. I'm not really getting that with this device, which is the whole point of why I'm doing this video right now. This is like, I think, about $400, if I'm not mistaken. This, let me show you some more. Push this down, and I can get my album art. Push this down, and then you've got the one that you've probably seen if you've ever seen, you know, videos or pictures or reviews of this. You've got it tells me all the information I need to know. It tells me I got a FLAC file. It's 44.1. What is the file right there? The time, total time, the play settings. Let me see if I can go to music function. It does have play settings. I can go through this. Play settings, repeat mode, time display, DSD gain, line out, level switch, VU bar display mode. This is the one that I can select and go into volume or electric level. Let me go ahead and get out of that because I don't need to mess with that. Fade out, channel balance. This is good. You gotta have chance, but because you gotta check if somebody wired your cable correctly. I've already showed you guys that. That happens a lot. System settings. Power off timer, auto power off, language display extinction. I like that. Unlock mode, breathing LED. If you don't like this breathing LED, I like it actually. Brightness. Blind operation switch. Battery info. Never even looked at that. Battery level 28%, recharge device, good habits. Okay, got that. Okay. Database update, SD info, SD speed test, format. I've never even been down here. Holy crap. So let's get out of here for now. You can do a lot with this. Sport mode settings, on or off. I'll just back out of there for now. Function key definition. Yeah, let me back out of there. You can do a lot with this thing, and I'm not going to do a lot with it today, except to say I've been getting questions about what do you rec for, a device that's under $500. If album art is not your big deal, because this one, I love that, by the way. It's cutting it off incorrectly. This is not displaying album art in the way that I would like it to be displayed, but I'm not expecting this device to do that. I didn't even know it had album art because I've never seen this with an album art. Ever. Have you? I never did. I had no idea. I had no idea this actually displayed album art because everything I've ever seen showed this, which is cool and I dig it, but I actually prefer this. This is dope as hell. I recommend this. If you can buy this anywhere, okay, I'm not going to get into that. I've mentioned inside my comment section, there's a company that I don't want to deal with because they talked to another company and said, this guy gave a bad review of your item. And then that company doesn't want to send me anything in the future. And to that company, if you didn't charge $160 for your fucking earbuds, I wouldn't say these are not fucking worth $160, these fucking earbuds. You made that. That's how much you charge. That's a fucking joke, and you're ripping people off. So fuck you. To the company that talked to them to tell them not to give me stuff, fuck you too. To the guy that held on to the $3,000 DAP that I was supposed to receive yesterday, but I'm not going to get it until Wednesday because the guy was listening to it. Instead of packaging up and sending it to me, he fucking listened to it for 4 fucking days. If that thing has a fucking scratch on it, I'm sending it back to you. And fucking you can eat that money and have the fucking thing. Fucking lack of professionalism is fucking mind-blowing. This whole game is full of fucking con artists and fucking shills. Why is this not really popular? I don't understand. I constantly run into stuff that sounds fantastic, and whether it's headphones, IEMs, sources, and there's not a lot out there about it. The BGP, those were around a little while already. When I was saying these are awesome, everybody buy it, nobody was really talking about them at the time. They were already out. What the fuck? This has been out for a long time. If you're into using an EQ, go out and get this fucking thing, man. And if you don't need album art, absolutely fucking get the thing. Holy crap. The sound is my EX1000s as adjusted and replayed by this. It's got an 8K 4490 DAC, and some people say, I don't like that DAC. Shut the fuck up, man. The warmest device I've ever heard in my life, and you can go check it on the internet, is the Calyx M, and that's got an ESS DAC, and everybody says that's fucking bright. Okay? And then I just listened to the fucking X Duo, and that's got a AK, same DAC as this thing, and it sounds like fucking like digital. It sounds like shit, and it's the same DAC. It's all about the implementation, the low-pass filters, the quality. There's a lot of things that go into the sound. And number one would be what you put in your fucking ears instead of the DAC that's inside this device. What surrounds this DAC, the filters that are around it, the quality of the build makes a sound. Calyx M sounds fucking warm. Not just warm, the warmest I've ever heard. The X Duo, digital disaster, same exact fucking chip. How do you explain that? You stop telling people that the fucking DAC equals the sound because it doesn't. The PAW Gold has, again, the same chip, Blackfin something 14. I can't quote it right off the top of my head. I would recommend, if you don't need album art, if you already got a device that you like, but want something that's more portable, and you can put it in a cradle and then wrap it around your arm and put this thing into sport mode. Holy crap. This is very weird because this is like the ultimate audiophile weapon, and it's got a sport band on it. And I'll use it too. I don't know what battery life is on this thing, but this thing is really, really good. This thing sounds really, really nice. I don't think I ever heard Marvin Gaye sound as good on this set as played by this, because I could put the exact adjustments I wanted exactly where I wanted. 8,000, drop it a little. Drop it a little. Give myself a little wedge right there. 55, give me a boost. 65, a little smaller boost. And then leave the rest the fuck alone. Fucking beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Highly recommend this. Again, the company that I've mentioned in my comments that I said I don't like, get this thing wherever you want to get it. Don't tell me. And don't, if you link, YouTube blocks links anyway. You can't put links in your comments. If you mention the company, I'll remove it. If you repeat it, I'll just block you. There's 380 people on my block list right now. 380 people. Think about how many comments I get if I just let everybody say whatever they want. YouTube is famous for a bunch of assholes saying stupid shit. I constantly block that. It's playing whack-a-mole, and I could whack-a-mole every day, all day. I don't care. I've done it 380 plus times. You want to be 381? Talk about that company. They fucked with me. They fucked with my ability to get stuff. So that's the way the game goes. But I'm not gonna read their fucking name on my own YouTube channel. I recommend this highly. I would, over the 120, over the 150, over the R3, over the R6. I would take this over all of those because of the way that it plays and what I can do if I want it to do something different. If I want to play and adjust the bass, it'll do it. I don't even know what this damp will do. It'll do something. I don't know, because I don't need to know what that is yet. Maybe I'll do an updated review later and explain the whole thing to you, but what I've just shown you is all you really need to know to open this thing up and think about your favorite set and what is the one thing that you wish it had. Do it. Wanted to take a little bit off of something? Do it with this. You want to add a little something somewhere, like the EX1000s? I did it. It sounded fantastic. I sat down for an hour instead of doing Halloween shit and just listened to this and thought, I'm going to do a video today. This is 18 minutes long. Way, way too long. And I don't even give a fuck. This is getting a check mark. I love this fucking thing. Love this fucking thing. And it's not going to kill your wallet like this crazy shit that's out there right now. Holy shit. Looking at the prices that they ask for stuff. How much is this? $400? Get the fucking thing, man. And next time you ask me, this is the one I'm going to wreck. Shut it down. Watch this. This is how you do this. Hold it down till it shuts itself down. Fucking cool. Cool from the beginning till the end. Someday I'll do this band thing on it. And I'm out.